Hi, how are you? It's good to see you. Are you an overthinker? Don't worry, me too. I do it all the time. I overthink about the smallest things. The most insignificant little thing can trigger me into this wild overthinking journey where I think that the world is going to end. And it happens late at night, specifically, when I can't really do anything about the things that I'm worried about. And it's usually something that I feel is beyond my power or beyond what I have any ability to fix. And that can be difficult. It can be really hard. I understand what you're going through. Overthinking is not fun. It's not great to sit and worry and worry and worry about something that might not even happen. Um, it's kind of hard actually, because what happens to me many times is I would lie in bed and I would just start thinking, and thoughts will run through my mind, and it doesn't feel like I can stop them. It doesn't feel like I can put any brakes on them. And even though I tell myself, listen, you need to go to sleep now, then I just start worrying about, am I going to get enough sleep? It's kind of a vicious cycle because now I'm worrying about, oh no, I'm going to feel dreadful tomorrow because I don't have enough sleep, and everything is just going to come ahead, and it's going to be so bad. I understand what you're going through, and overthinking is fun for no one. But with a little bit of patience and a little bit of practice, you can get your overthinking at least under control. And it's hard because I feel like I go on the internet and I hear everybody is overthinking. Everybody is thinking about something else. And overthinking seems like one of those things that everybody's struggling with. So in this video, I kind of just want to go over a few things on overthinking, how to get over it, how to try and manage it, and what I personally do to help myself in my overthinking journey. So, first things first, let's try and understand why we overthink. There can be many reasons. It can be information overload, information saturation. There is such a thing as too much information, and unfortunately, we are living in the age where we blast our brains with so much information, from social media to things that we read, the news, all of those things, school, work, everything all together, all the time. It gets a lot. So, information overload can absolutely be a major source of anxiety and overthinking. Another one can be anxiety. Maybe you are anxious about something that's coming up. Maybe you're just like me, I'm just a very tightly wound person and I'm anxious all the time for no reason. That can also lead to overthinking. Maybe you've got other things that are bothering you that you have been putting off. Or maybe you're just tired and you just need some rest. It could also be the really bad one. You need physical activity. When last did you take a walk? When last did you take a jog? There are many things that can lead to us overthinking, and I am by no means a psychological expert or a mental health expert or anything like that. I'm just a wolf telling you about my own experiences, and I want you to be healthy and I want you to be happy. So, first things first, let's try and figure out why we're overthinking. That way, we can kind of determine what the problem is and deal with it head on. Because if we're going to just keep on treating the symptom, then the root cause is still going to be there, festering and causing us pain and trouble and trauma. And it's going to make it harder and harder and harder to treat the symptom. So try and figure out why you're overthinking and get to the bottom of that. Secondly, there are multiple ways in which you can deal with overthinking. Overthinking, in its own way, is kind of a lot like the negativity video that I did. A lot of the things that I said there will be relevant here. For example, the first one. Make sure that you set time to worry. This might sound a little bit counterproductive, but ensure that you create a space, even if it's just 5 minutes a day or something, where you can sit productively. Worry productively. Worry with a piece of pen and paper or on your phone or whatever, and say, these are the things that I'm worried about, and then you can come up with actionable solutions as to how to solve them. Because here's the thing, if you're going to lie in your bed late at night and worry then, chances are you won't really be able to find a very realistic and very workable solution for your problem. But if you're going to do it in an environment where you have all of the tools at your disposal to think through the process, to make sure that you can logically, step by step, solve your problem, then it's going to be a lot easier and you'll be able to find solutions a lot easier. What I found personally is if I lie awake and worry, I keep on running the simulation through my head and it feels like I can't find the solution, I can't find the answer. Everything seems worse at night when you're lying in bed. But if it's broad daylight and you have everything out and bare and it's on you write it down on a piece of paper, then the solution comes to you much more naturally and much more quicker. So even though it sounds counterproductive, set out a bit of time to think. Set out a bit of time to worry. So that's the first tip. The second tip is to practice mindful meditation. So what does this mean? It means you need to carve out a little bit of time every day or at least once a week where you sit still, you remove yourself from all technology, you remove yourself from all distractions, and you just meditate. Focus on your breathing and then focus on the things that are bothering you. Just let them run over your brain and try to mindfully remove them from your brain. If you can, if it's something that's out of your control, imagine you packing them in a box and storing them away in the cupboard. And if it is something that you can action, or if it's something that you can action that you stored away, go and get that box, unpack it, and then figure out a way to work through it. Because sometimes, and the truth is, sometimes we can't do anything about the things that we're worried about. If there's a war going on, there's powers that are far greater than you that, you can't do anything about it. If there's going to be a cataclysm in 10,000 years, you won't be able to do anything about it, but maybe people then will be able. Remember that you can only really deal with things that are in your control. And that is a very, very, very important point. Understand what is in your control and what is outside of your control. Because a lot of the time, especially if you're somebody like me, you want to control every single thing. You want to control every single detail. And that's not possible. It's difficult because you want to be in this perfect utopia where you're in control of every single thing. But it's not realistic and it's not really possible because we have to understand what is inside of our control and what can we do about the things that are in our control. Understand when something's not in your control, and if it's not in your control, then that's okay. Then we need to learn to deal with those things and accept them as they come along and then work with them or work on those problems as they come and go. Okay? Next up is to get physical exercise. Now, I say this every video. I'm not saying you need to go and jog 10,000 kilometers, but I do want you to at least go and take a walk around the block. Make sure you're safe, but just get some physical activity. My personal physical activity regimen is to do 10 push-ups, 10 sit-ups, 10 leg ups, and 40 squats 3 times every day, and then I go for a walk. That's it. That's what I do. And I found that it keeps me happy, it keeps me motivated, it keeps me in a good mood, it keeps me in a good space, because not only will it release positive hormones like endorphins and dopamine and all those type of things, but it also gives your body some time just to unwind. Okay, so make sure that you're taking care of your physical health as much as you are taking care of your mental health. Next up, you need to practice some relaxation techniques or relaxation things. And here I need you to maybe look into yoga, maybe look into meditation, maybe look into stretches, those type of things. Practice something that's truly relaxing. And if that truly relaxing thing is maybe a very relaxing game that you'd like to play, I'm not gonna stop you. I know I sometimes cheat on this one, but it's fine, who cares? Next up is to talk to someone. Talking to someone can be really great. It can be fantastic. It can be such a mind easer. It can be so good just to make sure that you are getting the things out and discussing it and talking through those things can really, really help you to process them, and to come to a workable and actionable solution. So make sure that you're talking to somebody that you trust. Make sure that you're talking to somebody that won't necessarily try to give you answers, but that will listen. Because we all need that soundboard. We all need somebody just to listen to us, just so that we can talk. Because many times we already have the solution somewhere in the back of our brain. We just need somebody that will be able to tell us, or not tell us, but to listen to us while we ramble and ramble and ramble, and they're just our soundboard. So talking to somebody can be extremely great. Next one is to talk to a professional. Here, if you're struggling with something really deep and really deep rooted that you can't handle yourself, I want to motivate you. Please go and talk to a mental health professional, even if that's like a counselor or somebody that can give you some guidance. Please go and talk to somebody that has a lot more education than me, first of all, but that can really help you and really understands the mind, really understands the human brain, because sometimes that's necessary. And you might be struggling with something more than just overthinking. Maybe you're struggling with anxiety, maybe you're struggling with depression and you don't even know it. There are a lot of high functioning depressed people out there. You can have high functioning depression, you can have high functioning anxiety, where you are able to do everything during your day, but you're still a little bit depressed and still a little bit anxious. And those people can really give you workable and actionable solutions, even if it's like medication or anything like that, that can really help you. Next up, for me personally, it is to take a shower. No, I'm not kidding. Take a shower. Really. Because you know that thing about shower thoughts? It kind of really helps. Sometimes when I'm stressed, when I'm worried, I go and I take a shower. Really, I do. And I take a really long one, which is not great for the planet. But it really helps. I find that it really relaxes me. I find that it really puts me in a good space. So maybe take a shower, maybe drink a cup of tea. Do something that relaxes you. Do something that energizes you. Do something that gives you energy. Then next one, set limits for your information overload. We as people, and I've said this countless times, we as people are not really evolved or adapted to all of the information that's being thrown at us. Technology is far beyond what we're capable of processing, and we can get information saturation so quickly. So make sure that you limit your information overload, because it can be that you're struggling with information overload, but you don't know it. And that can be hard, that can be really difficult, because if you are struggling with information overload, it's a lot of information that's being thrown at your face. You're doing YouTube, you're doing Twitter, you're doing TikTok, you're doing Twitch, you're doing whatever, all of these things. And you have to focus on your daily life, your school things, your work things. It becomes a lot very quickly. So make sure that you stop yourself from overloading yourself with too much information. If you need, put your phone away for at least an hour a day. Just push it to the side and focus on something else. Focus on drawing or do something like that. And that'll help a lot. And then the last thing is to break things down into actionable and workable chunks. Break things down into smaller chunks, because often what will happen is you will feel that this problem that you're struggling with is this monumental thing, and you don't really know how to deal with it. It's a lot of things that you need to deal with, and it's difficult. But I need you to take those things and then break them down into smaller parts. You don't build a house one wall at a time. You build your house one brick at a time. Brick by brick, you lay them down, and then you're going to have walls in no time. But you need to break your big problem down into smaller, more actionable, more workable little things that you can work on. So do yourself a favor and break them down. And this is also going to happen where the thing that we said right in the beginning, when you create a time to worry, this is going to happen then. You can break your bigger problems into smaller problems. So that's what I have to say about overthinking. Overthinking is not fun, it's not great, but it is something that we can manage. And often we just don't know how to manage it. And if you find yourself in the loop of overthinking, try to practice some of these tips. It's not gonna go well the first time necessarily. It is something that you need to practice. It's like riding a bike. You need to practice to do it. Okay, so make sure that you practice on not overthinking, and you'll get better and better and better every time. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble. It's so much fun when you're here, and I really appreciate it. If you like this video, maybe give it a like, maybe subscribe, I don't know. Do what you want to do. I'm not your mother. Until next time, ciao. Thanks for watching.